Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are spotlighting the 1986 50-cent coin from Australia. We will dive into what makes this coin valuable among collectors and why it could be worth big money if you have got one. Let's get started. The Australian 50-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, the same year. Australia switched from the old pound shillings and pence system to the decimal system we use today. The original 1966 coin was round and struck in 80% silver, which made it so valuable for its metal content that people hoarded them almost immediately. The government quickly redesigned the coin into its now familiar 12-sided dodecagonal shape made of copper nickel instead of silver starting in 1969. By 1986, this design had already become a staple of Australian coinage. The 50-cent piece was the largest circulating coin in the country, and it featured one of the most detailed and impressive reverses of any decimal coin. The year 1986 does not mark a special commemorative release, unlike later years with bicentennials or other events, but it's still a great example of the series, and it gives us insight into mid-1980s Australian coin production. The obverse or head side of the 1986 50-cent coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth designed by the sculptor Raphael McLouf. This particular portrait is notable because it was the third official effigy of the Queen to appear on Australian coinage used from 1985 until 1998. McLouf design is often described as more regal and stylized compared to earlier portraits with a more formal crown and flowing hair. Around the portrait are the inscriptions Elizabeth I and Australia 1986. For collectors, recognizing the effigy is important because it helps place the coin in the timeline of Australian monarch portraits. This design connects directly to the British Commonwealth tradition of updating royal portraits every couple of decades, and it's part of what makes Australian coinage both historic and collectible. The reverse of the coin is where things get really iconic. The 1986 50-cent coin proudly displays the Australian coat of arms, a national emblem that features a shield supported by a kangaroo on one side and an emu on the other. The shield itself displays 6 parts, each representing one of the 6 states of Australia. Above the shield is a 7-pointed Commonwealth star symbolizing both the states and the territories. Surrounding the coat of arms is an intricate wreath-like design, giving the coin a level of detail and artistry that really stands out when compared to other world coins of the time. This design has been standard on the 50-cent piece since 1969, and it remains one of the most impressive circulating coin reverses Australia has ever produced. For anyone holding a 1986 example, you are not just holding money, you are holding a miniature piece of Australian national identity. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1986 Australian 50-cent coin weighs 15.55 grams, measures 31.65 millimeters across, and has 12 flat sides, which makes it instantly recognizable by touch alone. The coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a silvery appearance but without the intrinsic bullion value of the earlier 1966 issue. Its thickness is about 2.5 millimeters and the edges are plain rather than reeded. These specifications make it one of the largest and heaviest circulation coins in modern Australia, comparable in size to some commemorative issues worldwide. For everyday Australians in the 1980s, it was the big chunky coin in their change, one that people noticed right away when handed back at a shop counter. Now let's talk mintage. The 1986 50-cent coin had a production of around 16.6 million coins at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. This is considered a moderately high mintage for the denomination, which means the coin is not rare in absolute terms. Unlike some years where commemoratives were released or where mintage was lower, the 1986 issue was purely a standard circulating coin. However, even though millions exist, finding them in high-grade uncirculated condition can still be a challenge, since most were used heavily in circulation. Coins from this year that remain bright, lustrous, and free of scratches are far less common than the raw numbers suggest. That's why collectors still pay attention to the 1986 issue, particularly when building complete year sets or hunting for examples in pristine condition. In terms of value, a circulated 1986 Australian 50-cent coin is generally worth its face value of 50 cents in everyday transactions. However, for collectors, uncirculated examples or those taken from mint sets can carry a premium. A typical uncirculated coin might be valued between $2 and $5. AUD, while coins graded by professional services in near perfect condition. And above can sometimes reach $10 to 15 Australian dollars. Proof versions, which were struck specifically for collector sets in 1986, are far scarcer and more valuable, often worth $20 to 30 Australian dollars. And sometimes more depending on the quality of the strike and the condition of the packaging. While this may not sound like thousands of dollars, it shows that even modern decimal coins can hold and grow collector value if preserved carefully. One of the most exciting parts of coin collecting is searching for errors and varieties, and the 1986 50-cent coin is no different. Errors such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, or clipped planchets can make an otherwise common coin worth significantly more. Collectors have reported some 1986 coins with die deterioration, producing extra metal lines or doubling in certain areas of the design. While most minor errors might fetch $20 to 50 Australian dollars, dramatic misstrikes or rare minting anomalies could be worth hundreds of dollars. For anyone with a keen eye, it's always worth examining your 1986 coins under magnification to check for anything unusual, because the minting process, even with strict controls, always has room for human or machine error. For coin collectors, the 1986 50-cent coin fits neatly into a couple of different categories. First, it is part of the standard circulating 50-cent series that people try to complete year by year. Second, it connects to the Makhlouf portrait era of Queen Elizabeth, which is a theme some collectors specifically pursue. Third, it represents a non-commemorative issue from the mid-1980s, making it part of a transitional period, before more frequent commemoratives began appearing later. Even though it's not rare in circulation for someone aiming to build a full Australian 50-cent collection, it's an essential date. High-quality, uncirculated and proof versions are always in demand, particularly for people assembling proof year sets. That why this coin, while overlooked by the general public, maintains steady importance in numismatics. In closing, the 1986 Australian 50-cent coin may not be a scarce rarity, but it embodies a lot of what makes coin collecting so fascinating. The history of a nation currency, the artistry of its design, the evolution of monarch portraits, and the stories that each year of issue carries with it. With over 16 million minted, it's not hard to find in circulated form, but examples in pristine, uncirculated condition or struck as proofs can be worth far more to collectors. Always check for errors, store your coins properly, and never clean them, as condition makes all the difference. If you have got a 1986 50-cent piece in your collection, you now know exactly what makes it special. And if you love learning about coins like this, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button and hit the notification bell, so you will always be first to know when we post new coin videos. We have got more amazing stories from Australia and around the world coming your way. Thanks for watching and happy collecting.